Jimin officially announces Jungkook's return to military service while injured, shocking the world. Jungkook has returned to military service in a shocking condition. With a bandaged hand, unsteady steps, and relying on a cane, he entered the military camp with a face full of determination, even though his body was clearly still weak. This sight immediately triggered panic among fans and the general public. How could a soldier who had not fully recovered be sent back to duty? Why did the military insist on sending him back despite his ongoing recovery? Jimin, his fellow BTS member, officially announced that Jungkook had returned to the military camp despite his injury. In an emotional statement, Jimin expressed his concern for his close friend. "We all want the best for him, but this is a decision beyond our control," Jimin said with a tone of disappointment. His statement quickly became a global discussion, with millions of fans expressing their anger and frustration over the situation. Outside the military camp, protests continued to grow. ARMY, the name for BTS fans, gathered carrying posters with a hashtag Justice for Jungkook, demanding that he be given more time to recover. Many were in tears upon seeing photos and videos of Jungkook struggling to walk, using a cane to support his still weak body. "This is inhumane," wrote one fan on social media. The military's decision to send Jungkook back without allowing sufficient recovery time sparked a wave of criticism. Many questioned the policy that required soldiers who were not fully healed to continue their duties. Some human rights activists even called this a form of exploitation of soldiers' health. Meanwhile, the military stood firm in their decision, stating that Jungkook had passed a medical evaluation and was deemed fit for service. But is Jungkook really ready? Reports from inside the camp indicate that he is still undergoing daily medical therapy. Military doctors have been ordered to monitor his condition more closely, but many doubt whether this supervision is enough to protect his health. A source mentioned that Jungkook is often seen struggling during training and has to stop to catch his breath. Some of his fellow soldiers even secretly assist him, so he can complete his tasks. International media have now taken notice of the situation. Several major television stations have reported his return to military service as a controversial case. Journalists from various countries are trying to uncover more details about why the military is sending him back despite his unstable condition. Discussions on social media are heating up, with many questioning whether this decision was based on regulations or if political pressure was involved. Amidst this wave of criticism, Jungkook himself remains silent. He has made no statements to the media, has not complained about his condition, and continues to carry out his duties with discipline. Close sources say that although his body is weak, his mental strength remains intact. However, the question now is, how long can he endure this condition? Will the military reconsider its decision? Some military officials have begun to show signs of doubt. There is speculation that they are discussing the possibility of granting Jungkook temporary leave if public pressure increases. However, there are also those who insist that the rules must be upheld without exception, regardless of who is affected. Meanwhile, support for Jungkook continues to grow. Many celebrities, activists, and even political figures have started speaking out, urging that a soldier's well-being should not be sacrificed for rigid regulations. Fans have even organized multiple petitions that have gathered millions of signatures, calling for the government to intervene in this case. However, as of now, the military remains silent and has not issued an official response to the growing protests. The public can only wait, wondering whether Jungkook's condition will worsen under military service pressure or if justice will finally be served for him. One thing is certain: Jungkook's return in an injured state has not only touched the hearts of his fans, but has also sparked a global debate about the boundaries that should exist in the military world. All eyes are now on the next move from the authorities. Will they stand by their decision, or will they finally listen to the voices of millions demanding justice for Jungkook? But now, let's pause for a moment and ask ourselves, did this really happen? Did Jungkook, one of the world's biggest stars, truly get forced back into military service while injured? Or is this merely a fabrication designed to shake the media and attract public attention? How far can we trust the information we receive without questioning it first? Think about how this news has spread. Social media is filled with images and videos showing Jungkook limping with a cane, his military uniform still neatly worn, but his face showing signs of pain. Did all of this really happen as we read? Or could this just be part of a narrative deliberately shaped to provoke a reaction from the public? Are we merely playing a role in a bigger game orchestrated by the media? If this is reality, then the world must reevaluate humanity within the military system. Should an unhealed soldier be forced back into duty just for the sake of discipline and regulations? Isn't an individual's health more important than rigid rules? If Jungkook has indeed been forced back, where is the empathy and humanity? But on the other hand, could the South Korean military, known for its strict and structured system, really be this careless in handling a soldier who is also a global public figure? But what if this is all a hoax? What if this news was deliberately constructed to stir our emotions? Hasn't the entertainment industry often used such strategies to create sensations and maintain public attention? Social media is a breeding ground for unchecked news, and we often believe it without further verification. Haven't we fallen for fake news multiple times before? Let's reflect again. How often do we react emotionally to news without thinking critically? How often do we believe what we see and read just because many others support it? Shouldn't we be more skeptical? Shouldn't we seek stronger evidence before blindly accepting any information presented to us? If this is merely a fabrication, who benefits? Does this favor the military? Is this part of a larger marketing strategy? Or is there another hidden agenda we are unaware of? We must ask ourselves, who controls this narrative? Let's imagine for a moment. If tomorrow an official statement is released clarifying that all of this was just a misunderstanding, or even a hoax, how would we react? Would we feel deceived? Would we blame the media for sensationalizing the news? Or would we simply move on and chase after the next viral story? A more important question is, why are we so easily swayed by news like this? Is it because we care too much about our idols? Or is it because we have become accustomed to consuming unfiltered, emotion-driven information? Do we truly seek the truth? Or are we just looking for something that makes us feel connected to the world? If Jungkook is truly being treated unfairly, then the protests outside the military camp are proof that the world still has a conscience. But if this is just a sensation, then we must ask, who is manipulating our emotions? Are we being played without realizing it? Now, think carefully. Do you believe this really happened? Or is it just a drama created to shake the world? Are we witnessing a real tragedy? Or are we merely being part of a larger media spectacle? If we can't answer this with certainty, doesn't that mean we should start being more critical of every piece of news we come across? And here is a little clarification for me as the writer of this article. Jimin never officially announced anything about Jungkook. That was just a clickbait strategy one used to grab your attention. But now, let's focus on something more important. How did this news about Jungkook emerge and spread? Have you ever questioned who first spread this news? Where did the original source come from? Is there concrete evidence? Or are these just assumptions fueled by public emotions? We often forget that in the digital world, news can be easily manipulated. So, did Jungkook's return to military service while injured really happen? Or is it just speculation that has run wild? Right now, the bigger question isn't about Jungkook, but about how we, as readers, respond to it.